In my previous life, my cousin obtained a necklace that could exchange lives. She used it to take away my beauty, academic achievements, and loved ones. After taking everything from me, she even hired someone to kill me. In my dying moments, I vaguely overheard her conversation with the system. System, if she dies, will our lives be permanently exchanged? A mechanical voice with a hint of malice said, yes, host. I was unwilling to accept it, and heaven took pity on me, allowing me to return to the first day my cousin gave me the necklace. This time, I directly gave the necklace to my aunt, who had been left disabled and disfigured from a car accident. 1. Xiaomi, look what I brought for you. When I regained consciousness, my cousin was standing before me holding a blood-red necklace, her eyes filled with anticipation as she looked at me. I immediately realized that I had been reborn. The first day I was reborn, my cousin gave me this necklace that could swap lives. In my previous life, everything was going smoothly at first, but after I started wearing this necklace, I inexplicably began to gain weight, and my face broke out in rashes, almost to the point of disfigurement. I went from being the school's famous beauty to the universally acknowledged ugly girl. During that time, I was almost depressed. But Qian Zhaodi was always there to comfort me, which made me treasure the necklace she gave me even more, and I wore it every day. Later, I finally managed to pull myself together and worked hard to lose weight, but I discovered that my once sharp mind would go completely blank during exams. Looking at test papers that used to be simple and easy to understand, they now seemed like incomprehensible texts, and I was almost driven to the brink of collapse. After that, my parents inexplicably became Qian Zhaodi's parents and no longer recognized me. I finally discovered Qian Zhaodi's anomaly. Every time I became uglier and dumber, Qian Zhaodi would always become prettier and smarter. I angrily went to confront her, but she hired someone to kill me. I really misjudged her character. I stared at Qian Zhaodi, my eyes filled with hatred, wishing I could tear her to pieces. Qian Zhaodi was startled by my gaze. Xiaomi, what's wrong with you? I quickly snapped back to attention and reined in my killing intent. It's nothing, Sister Zhaodi. I was just thinking about a nightmare I had last night. Since I haven't yet figured out what kind of dark magic Qian Zhaodi is using, I must hold my position and not act rashly. Oh, I see. Let's not worry about that for now. Xiaomi, this is a blessed necklace I got for you at the temple. The college entrance exam is coming up soon, and with this necklace, we're sure to get into a good university. In my previous life, although I didn't believe in such things, I was touched by my cousin's kindness and happily accepted it, carrying it with me at all times. Little did I know it would bring about my own death. This time, I must figure out what the reason is and what exactly that so-called system is. Really, thank you, cousin, you're so good to me. I pretended to be deeply moved and happily accepted the necklace. We're close sisters. Of course I have to treat you well. Thinking about what the system had promised, as long as Gem Xiaomi carried this necklace with her for a week, the exchange target would be bound, and all her luck would be transferred to herself. Qian Zhaodi felt a wave of satisfaction in her heart. As descendants of the Qian family, why was Gem Xiaomi born in the city, with loving parents and so many people who adore her, while I was born to endure my parents' abuse, endless household chores, and even given the name Zhaodi? Don't blame me. Jian Xiaomi, who made you the most privileged person I can get close to. System, are you sure what you said is true? Now that Gem Xiaomi has accepted the necklace, as long as she wears it for a week, can I really exchange for her things? Yes, host, once you are bound to Gem Xiaomi, you can take any 3 things from her and exchange them. My heart skipped a beat as I looked at Qian Zhaodi. How could I also hear the system's voice? So this thing is an evil object. In my previous life, she must have used this necklace to exchange for my beauty, my academic achievements, and my loved ones. It's also the consequence of my complete lack of guard against her in my previous life, but in this life, don't even think about taking what belongs to me. 2. First, I need to figure out exactly what kind of dark magic this is. I booked a ticket to Xiandao Temple overnight. Xiandao Temple is the most famous Taoist temple in the Jiangsu and Zhejiang area. There's a Taoist priest there who is a good friend of my father before he became a monk, and he's practically like an uncle to me. Perhaps I can seek his help with this problem. After arriving at Xiandao Temple, I explained my purpose to the young attendant. I'm looking for Master Qingchen. Half an hour later, I finally saw Qingchen slowly approaching. The moment he saw me, he was overjoyed. Xiaomi, it's you. Uncle hasn't seen you for so long. After speaking, he scolded the young servant. Be more alert next time. This is my niece. Next time she comes, notify me immediately. It's all right, uncle. I haven't been waiting long. I came this time because I have something to ask you. After saying that, I took out the necklace that Qian Zhaodi had given me. Qingchen's originally cheerful expression suddenly turned serious. He quickly took the necklace from my hand and examined it carefully for a while. Xiaomi, where did you get this? Who gave it to you? He then pulled me closer. checked that I was unharmed, and only then let out a sigh of relief. I told Qingchen exactly how Qianzhaodi came to me, but I kept the part about my rebirth to myself. I only mentioned that wearing this necklace gave me an uncomfortable feeling, which is why I came to ask Qingchen what was going on. This necklace has been cursed with a dark magic, Qingchen explained slowly. This kind of sorcery can swap the fates of two people, and even blur the memories of those around them. Until one person completely replaces the other, there should be an identical necklace. That one is the master chain, while yours is the secondary chain that has been enchanted with the transfer spell. What? I originally thought there wouldn't be much to gain from this, since systems and the like are usually products of this civilization in novels. When I approached Qianzhaodi, I also heard her talking to someone who claimed to be a system, saying that if I wear this necklace for 7 days, it will be permanently bound. Uncle Qingchen pondered for a moment. That's correct. This kind of life-swapping dark magic indeed requires a person to be in contact with an object for a period of time. I don't know where that system came from, but once this life-swapping dark magic succeeds, it is completely irreversible. You'd better throw away this necklace as soon as possible. Qingchen looked at me with concern. Uncle, has this necklace already bound someone? I had a sudden idea. That's not the case, Qingchen said. Anyone who obtains this necklace and wears it for 7 days will have their fate swapped with another person. The only drawback of this dark art is that it's irreversible. If the spell fails, the backlash will only affect the one who cast it. At that moment, he caught on, his eyes lighting up with excitement. Xiaomi, are you saying, if I don't wear this necklace, Qianzhaodi and her system will surely come up with some other way to deal with me? Why don't we go along with their plan and use this necklace? After all, we won't be the ones suffering the backlash, right? Qingchen looked at me in shock, as if he thought this plan was improper. Truthfully, before coming here, I had considered countless ways to handle this. I could have just thrown the necklace away and let things settle quietly, but instead of constantly guarding against Qianzhaodi's future schemes, why not turn the tables on her now and trap her in an inescapable situation? I, Jiang Xiaomi, have never been the kind of coward who swallows blood and broken teeth. In my past life, the bond between me and Qianzhaodi was completely destroyed when she took everything from me and hired someone to kill me. Now, there is only hatred between us, a deep, blood-soaked enmity. Moreover, I'm not worried that Qingchen won't help me, because the person I'm giving the necklace to is his first love, Xinmei. 3. Before becoming a Taoist priest, Qingchen was a wealthy young man named Xinyu. He had a childhood sweetheart and fiancée named Xinmei. Originally, Xinyu and Xinmei were considered a well-matched couple. The Qin family was somewhat successful locally, running a construction company, while the Xin family came from a scholarly background. But unfortunately, just 1 week before their wedding, Xinmei was in a car accident. Although she survived, her leg suffered unimaginable injuries, leaving her with a limp. Her once delicate and beautiful face was also left with an ugly scar. Qinyu remained devoted to Xinmei, but his family insisted that he enter into a marriage alliance and find another wife. Feeling unworthy of Qinyu, Xinmei avoided meeting him. In recent years, she had been hiding from him. Pressured relentlessly by his family, Qinyu, in a fit of anger, became a Taoist priest. Now there is an opportunity to restore Xinmei's leg condition and appearance. Qingchen naturally won't let it pass. Then let's do as you say. A hint of determination flashed in Qingchen's eyes. But are you really willing to give up on that girl from the Qian family? She was your good sister. From the moment she harmed me, we were no longer sisters. On the way back from Xiandao Temple, I didn't have time to think too much and hurried to the neighboring province to hand the necklace to Xinmei. I didn't tell her the function of the necklace, only saying that it was something Qingchen had obtained for her to ensure her safety, and that she must wear it for a full week without taking it off. And Qin is still unmarried, and as soon as she heard it was from Qingchen, she eagerly accepted it, saying she would definitely keep it on at all times. I hurriedly found the best craftsman's shop. Master, can you make an exact replica of this necklace? The material isn't hard to find. $200. Come get it tomorrow. I breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, the necklace Qianzhaodi gave me was just a cheap trinket from a street stall. I'll pay triple. Can you finish it today? No problem at all. Come pick it up in 2 hours. Qianzhaodi would definitely suspect me if I didn't wear the necklace. To be safe, I decided to make a fake one to carry with me and also put on the incredibly realistic talisman that Qingchen had given me. This could mimic the aura of dark magic but wouldn't cause any harm to my body. By the time I returned home, it was already noon the next day. My mother told me that Qianzhaodi had come looking for me many times and had waited for me for a long time. I had just gotten home when she suddenly popped out. Xiaomi, where have you been these past 2 days? Qianzhadi looked at me with confusion. Although I used to be the campus belle, I was introverted and didn't like going out, a true homebody. This time, I had been gone for so long and hadn't replied to her messages. She must have been really worried. I kept a straight face. Sister Zhaodi, I went to a friend's house for a few days. She wanted to ask which friend, but seeing my displeased expression, she kept quiet. She approached, pretending to be calm as she glanced at my neck. Seeing the necklace she had given me still properly worn, she breathed a sigh of relief. System, I told you it was just your overthinking. Jiang Xiaomi, that fool, treats me like her best friend. She'll definitely take my words to heart and wear this necklace all the time. The system carefully sensed the aura of the necklace and only relaxed after detecting that faint, obscure evil energy. It is indeed the necklace. But caution is the parent of safety. Host, I feel something is off. Be careful, I overheard their conversation, so the system isn't all-powerful after all. It didn't even notice the necklace had been swapped. Perfect. Now I can proceed with the next phase of the plan. I looked at Qianzhadi and sneered inwardly, get ready for my revenge. 7 days passed, and as expected, I let out a scream. Mimi, what's wrong? Mom heard my cry and quickly came to the room to check on me. She was also startled when she saw my face covered in acne. My dear daughter. What happened to you? Could it be an allergic reaction? Mom was so anxious that she wanted to take me to the hospital for a checkup, but I refused. How can I face anyone like this? I declined my mom's suggestion, saying it might be because I had eaten too much spicy food. Mom only half believed it, but she was still worried about me, so she quickly contacted Qianzhadi next door to come check on me and comfort me. I made a call to Qingchen. How's it going? Has Auntie Shinside been bound already? After studying for 7 days, Qingchen finally came up with a way to delay this evil method. Because she was afraid that Qianzhadi would be driven to desperate actions, her fate would first be transferred to Xinmei. Only after it was completely over would Xinmei's fate be transferred to her. I spent half the morning getting rid of the pimples on my face just to keep Qianzhadi steady. Xiaomi, what's wrong with you? Qianzhadi received my mom's message and rushed over immediately. When she saw my face, a flash of wild joy appeared in her eyes. System, I succeeded. Soon, Jiang Xiaomi's appearance will all be mine. The title of campus belle will naturally be mine too, but she soon realized something. She looked at her own face and asked, why hasn't my face changed at all? The system checked and firmly told her, the necklace medium has been successfully bound. The exchange might have been a bit slow, but why are you in such a hurry? Only then did Qianzhadi feel relieved. She turned to look at me and said, oh, Xiaomi, I told you to take care of your skin, but you relied on your naturally good complexion. Now you've got pimples, haven't you? She doesn't care about me as much as she used to. Instead, she said with a sarcastic tone, it's nothing, just apply some medicine. I have things to do. I'll be going now. After saying that, she left with a pleased expression. I watched her retreating figure and thought, Qianzhadi, this is the last chance I'm giving you. If you lose this opportunity, you will be beyond redemption. I deliberately pretended to be heartbroken, hoping she would realize her mistakes and turn back. Now it seems her heart, my destiny, should belong to her. This is just as well. I won't feel guilty when I retaliate. The appearance aspect has already been verified. What comes next? Intelligence, or my kinship? Xiaomi, I've already spoken to your Aunt Shin. Qingchen called. Now her face and legs are showing signs of gradual recovery. You just need to hold off Qianzhadi for a few more days. It's time to close the net. Qianzhadi, do you think your good days are about to begin? No. This is the beginning of your fall into the abyss. 5. The next day, I walked into the classroom wearing a mask, and my classmates looked at me with strange eyes, pointing and whispering, look at her, and she's supposed to be the school belle. How could a normal person get a face full of acne? She must have done something shameful. My heart sank. Could it be? At that moment, Qianzhadi came over. I'm sorry, Xiaomi, I didn't mean to tell everyone about your face being covered in acne. I apologize. Boo-hoo. As she spoke, she started crying. I was absolutely furious inside. Zhaodi, why are you apologizing to her? She's ugly yet still occupies the position of school belle. Can't we even talk about it? Exactly, and she even knows to wear a mask to cover up. I bet her previous title as school belle was all thanks to makeup. 2 of Qianzhadi's lackeys, who are also quite unattractive themselves, were now stepping forward to mock me. Of course, most of the class were normal people. What's all the noise about? My desk mate, Yan Fei, slammed a book onto the table. Are you all so full you have nothing better to do than mock my desk mate? Do you want a beating? Yan Fei, the top girl at our school, had intimidating red-dyed hair, but no one dared to mess with her because of her family background. Rumor has it she once beat up a gang of troublemakers at her old school and got away with it completely. Looking at this fierce deskmate of mine, I felt like crying. In my previous life, after Qianzhadi stole everything from me, I was almost abandoned by everyone, only Yanfei stood by my side, telling me that it must have been Qian Zhaodi who harmed me, urging me to stay away from her and even offering to help me transfer schools. I quietly returned to my seat. "Are you okay, deskmate?" Yanfei leaned over, perhaps because I was the first person at school to take the initiative to befriend her, and she cared about me a lot. She looked at the tear stains at the corner of my eyes. "You cried, damn it. It's all because of that bitch Qian Zhaodi. Why did she have to run her mouth? Isn't it normal to get pimples?" Yanfei was so angry that she immediately wanted to go settle the score with Qian Zhaodi. I quickly grabbed her. "Fei, I'm fine. I just feel really happy to have a friend like you." Yanfei blushed. "Don't worry, Xiaomi, my dad's company has a medical team full of experts. They'll clear up your acne in no time. No need to go through all that trouble, Fei. It's just a common allergic reaction," I said to her with a smile. Some people in the class didn't dare to speak up under Yanfei's pressure, but they were still whispering. Yanfei was so angry that she wanted to fight them, but I stopped her. I didn't want Yanfei to upset Uncle Yan because of my issues. Besides, it was just a setup. 3 days later, Qian Zhaodi would realize how ridiculous the life-changing result she had been longing for truly was, surprisingly. When the class monitor heard about this, she requested the homeroom teacher to hold a special class meeting for us. The theme is how to deal with appearance anxiety during adolescence. Classmates, it's normal to have issues like developmental changes and skin problems during adolescence. We shouldn't look down on others because of issues like acne. We should focus on inner beauty. I saw many classmates who had mocked me in the morning lower their heads, not daring to look at me. There were also many girls with acne who were in tears. They usually didn't dare to look up and speak to others, afraid of receiving strange looks. Only Qian Zhaodi was there, murmuring to her system, "What's the use of this meeting called by the old hag? In 3 days, Jiang Xiaomi's beauty will be mine. You're also nice to her now, but in the end, you'll be groveling at my feet." 6. The next day, Qian Zhaodi came up to me and deliberately asked how I was feeling today. How could I not satisfy her? I pretended to look distressed and said, "Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me today. My mind feels all muddled, like I've become a lot dumber." System, it's true, her intelligence has been lost too. When will it be transferred to me? Qian Zhaodi was ecstatic. "It's almost done. It's almost done." The system was also very happy. This task was about to be completed so easily. "Cousin, it must be that you didn't rest well yesterday. You should get some good rest. I won't disturb you any further." On the surface, she comforted me, but in her heart, she said to the system, "Next, I'm going to take away all her family and friends." She gave me a pitying look, then turned and left. Yanfei walked over, glanced at her warily, and quickly asked, "Xiaomi, what happened? What does she want now?" I've already established myself as a pitiful, bullied figure in front of Yanfei, ever since that last incident. She now sees Qian Zhaodi as having ill intentions and keeps an even closer watch on me. "I heard you two are cousins. I never would have thought you could have a cousin who would harm her own sister like this. Yanfei, help me put on a show. Since I need to start with relatives and friends, I should give her a little hope. After all, I want Qian Zhaodi to experience that feeling of falling from the clouds after having enjoyed everyone's favor. Tomorrow is my birthday party, and I hope you can come. First we do this, then we do this, like this." Yanfei didn't understand, but since I asked, she agreed without hesitation. "Fei, after tomorrow night, I'll tell you everything." "Okay, I believe you. In my previous life, it was at my birthday banquet that Qian Zhaodi took my place and stole my parents from me. In this life, if nothing unexpected happens, she will likely try the same trick again. I have already contacted my parents in advance and asked them to help me put on a show. My father has learned from Qingchen that Qian Zhaodi intends to harm me, and my mother is extremely angry. If I hadn't discovered it, they might never have seen me again." My family, who had previously felt sympathy for Qian Zhaodi, immediately grew to despise her. However, with the help of the system, who knows what other tricks Qian Zhaodi might have up her sleeve? I need to make sure everything is foolproof. On the third night, which was also the start of my birthday banquet, was when Qian Zhaodi fell into the abyss. My parents really liked me and threw a huge party for me, inviting many relatives and friends. Among my school friends, I only invited Yanfei and the class monitor. "Xiaomi, happy birthday to you." The class monitor arrived the earliest, and today he looked different from his usual bookish self, having changed into a suit. "Wow," Yanfei exclaimed beside him. "Xiaogu, I didn't expect you to clean up so handsomely." Guzei's face flushed slightly. He usually gave off the image of a bookworm who only knew how to study and manage the class, but today he had the aura of a business elite. Mom and Dad were very happy. They didn't have high expectations for their daughter, and seeing that I had good friends, They were genuinely happy for me. Yanfei was also very happy. She thought her red hair would be seen as a sign of a bad child in front of parents, but the moment my mom saw her, she complimented the color, asking where she had it dyed. The two of them quickly started chatting, and they ended up looking more like mother and daughter than I did. 7. Just as the party was about to start and most guests had arrived, Qian Zhaodi brought my uncle and aunt along, as well as their precious son, Yao Zhu. Under normal circumstances, their family's attitude toward us was always fawning and flattering, but today, they seemed like completely different people, strutting in with their heads held high. Qian Zhaodi even changed into the evening gown she had previously taken from me. Her ordinary appearance, adorned with gold and silver, ended up looking rather out of place. She glanced at the crowd surrounding me, and a flash of jealousy couldn't help but appear in her eyes. It's fine, it's fine. After tonight, all of this will be mine. Qian Zhaodi was extremely excited inside, looking forward to trampling me into the dirt just like in her previous life. Today, welcome everyone to my daughter's 18th birthday party, wishing my precious daughter a happy birthday. May she always be a happy little princess. Under my parents' expectant gazes, I began to prepare to blow out the candles. 3, 2, 1, wait a moment. Just then, a sharp voice rang out, and my aunt's round face wore a hypocritical smile. Although today is Xiaomi's birthday, I forgot to tell you something. Xiaomi is my daughter, and Qian Zhaodi is actually your daughter. Let's return them to their rightful owners today. Qian Zhaodi's father chimed in. This is impossible, brother, sister-in-law. I think you must be drunk. Today is Mimi's birthday party, and there are so many people watching. Don't talk nonsense here. My mother, still holding on to old sentiments, wanted to let them off, but my uncle and aunt didn't appreciate it at all. What, drunk? I'm not drunk. Mimi is so outstanding. She's clearly our daughter. Do you want to take our daughter away from us? Aunt said, reaching out to grab me. Sister-in-law, everything must be based on evidence. You can't just take my Mimi away without any proof. Get out, both of you, get out. My mother panicked, seeing that I was about to be pulled away, and tried to drive them out. At this moment, Qian Zhaodi spoke. Dad, Mom, I am your daughter. Strangely, after she finished speaking, my parents froze for a moment, then they murmured, yes, yes, you are our daughter, you are our daughter. My mother let go of my hand, and I was immediately pulled over by Qian's mother, stumbling as I went. When they were little, the two of them were switched by mistake. Have you forgotten, Mrs.? Qian said to my mom. You've raised my daughter quite well. She can be married off for a hefty bride price now, Mr. Qian and Yaozu burst into laughter beside them. Qian Zhaodi was overjoyed. Finally, everything that belonged to Jiang Xiaomi would be hers. She would no longer have to face that suffocating family or work like a slave for them. She looked at me, a cold smirk curling at the corner of her lips. Jiang Xiaomi, oh Jiang Xiaomi, if you want to blame anyone, blame your own good fortune. It all belongs to me now. No, how is this possible? Dad, Mom, I'm Mimi. Dad, Mom, I rushed to my parents, grabbing their hands, trying to wake them up. Qian Zhaodi pushed me away. Sister, stop clinging to them. Now I am the only daughter of our parents, the only young lady of the Jiang family. As for you, she leaned close to my ear. Just rot away in that family. Slap. I viciously slapped her. The force was so strong that my hand still stung with pain, but it didn't matter. Qian Zhaodi let out a sharp cry, clutching her reddened cheek. Sis, I know it's hard for you to accept, but this is the truth. How can you take it out on me, Xiaomi? How could you hit someone? Yanfei pretended to support Qian Zhaodi. Now she is my good friend, and you are no longer my friend. She gave me a wink, meaning, well done. The class monitor was puzzled but greatly shocked. Yanfei, you. Before she could finish, I cut her off. As if burning my bridges, I swayed. Barely managing to stand firm, I questioned loudly, okay, since you say I was swapped with you, it's simple, show me proof that you are the Jiang family's daughter. All right, bring out the evidence, let me make things clear for you. Mother Qian, with an arrogant air, pulled out a document from her bag. On it were the 4 bold characters, paternity test report. This is the paternity test between me and my mom. Take a good look. Qian Zhaodi looked at me, her eyes carrying a hint of pity and a touch of mockery, as if I were the clown. According to the test results, Qian Zhaodi and Li Ran do not share a biological parent-child relationship, she announced loudly. After reading it, she looked at my smiling face and said, why aren't you angry, Qian Zhaodi? I think you've lost your mind. It clearly states here that you and my mom do not share a biological parent-child relationship. Do you even understand what do not share means? Qian Zhaodi snapped back to reality, frantically flipping through the paternity test report. Impossible, impossible. When I checked before, it was 99%. I am clearly Li Ran's daughter. Qian's parents grew anxious as well. They had also seen the paternity test earlier and knew that what Qian Zhaodi said was true. It must be you. It must be you who switched my report. She rushed over, grabbed me by the collar, and demanded an answer. So what if I did? Your original report was fake to begin with. Haven't you realized it yet? For example, why hasn't your face stolen my looks? Qian Zhaodi was taken aback. At that moment, the system's alarm went off. Host, you've been deceived. Jiang Xiaomi never bound the life exchange necklace. What? Didn't you confidently tell me before that she had bound it? Ah, it hurts, my face. Everyone looked over and saw a terrifying scar appear on Qian Zhaodi's face. The system's voice rang out again. Warning, warning, the real necklace has been detected. Host, I'm afraid we've been set up. What? Who is the necklace bound to? She glared fiercely at me, then looked at the crowd around her who had stepped back and were pointing at her, and immediately understood. She rushed over. Jiang Xiaomi, who did you give the necklace to? Don't worry. Your necklace will serve its intended purpose. At that moment, Master Qingchen arrived with Li Mei. My parents hurried over to greet them. They had been good friends in their youth, and seeing that Li Mei seemed to have resolved her inner conflicts and was out and about again, they were very happy. Maisie, your face is healed, my mother exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, Li Mei had already regained her appearance, and the terrifying scar on her face had disappeared. My father pointed at her leg. Your leg is healed too. Just then, a scream came from Qian Zhaodi's side. My leg, why can't I walk? Jiang Xiaomi, what did you do to me? With such a major incident occurring at the banquet, the onlooking guests had long been dispersed by our family, as what was about to happen next was not suitable for too many people to know. He who harms others will be harmed in return. Qian Zhaodi. Jiang Xiaomi never did anything to you. You brought this upon yourself entirely through your own actions, Qingchen said. Qian Zhaodi had now also spotted Qingchen and Li Mei, her eyes immediately fixed on the necklace around Li Mei's neck. Ha, so that's it, you gave the necklace to this bitch, and that's why I ended up like this. Ha. I was confused. Why had Qian Zhaodi become so unhinged? After Maisie and I separated, she suffered injuries to her face and feet, and gradually developed intermittent bipolar disorder, and as it happened, Qian Zhaodi ended up taking those three things away. This is really so unfortunate. I went up and slapped them both twice, cursing you for harming me in your previous life, cursing you for hiring someone to kill me. This life, I'll beat you to death. No one around me tried to stop me. Even Qian Zhaodi's parents and her family's Yaozu were so frightened by her behavior that they hid far away. System, change me back. I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life. Qian Zhaodi was desperate at this moment and shouted at the system. Ding, would you like to sacrifice 10 years of your lifespan to unbind the system? After unbinding, the host can return to their original form. 10 years of lifespan, no problem, I'm still young. In 10 years, I'll still be under 30, I'll sacrifice it. My heart sank. Could it be that this system has another trick up its sleeve? Goodbye to you, useless thing? If the mission isn't completed, I'll be destroyed too. I don't want to be bound to a waste like you forever. Before I could come up with a solution, Qian Zhaodi's face suddenly aged. No, how can my hair turn white from just 10 years of life? Just kidding, silly host, it's actually 50 years of life. I forgot to tell you, you don't have many years left to live. System, you've ruined me, don't you dare leave. This conversation could only be heard by Qian Zhaodi and me. I gave Qingchen a meaningful look, and he pressed the button in his hand. Don't worry, none of you are leaving today. Qian Zhaodi's initial joy at hearing the system's voice turned to fear. Why can't I leave this room? Why can't I contact the main system? Faraday cage, ever heard of it? I walked closer. You relied on having a system, never thought you'd lose so badly, did you? And you, I don't know which civilization you're from, but I'm telling you, as long as you commit a crime in our Huaxia, none of you will ever walk out of here. 8. Impossible. Impossible. How can your low-level civilization produce something that can trap me? The system's face was filled with disbelief. Its data stream now seemed to be destroyed, let alone escaping this world. It didn't even have the energy to find a host and rebind itself. Xiaomi, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Okay. Qian Zhaodi knelt beside me. She was truly scared now. She would have to live with this inhuman, ghost-like appearance, perhaps begging me offered a glimmer of hope. Yanfei looked at me worriedly. Xiaomi, you wouldn't pity her, would you? After all, everyone in the class had seen how good I was to my sister before, and Yanfei was afraid I would go soft and forgive her. I gave her a reassuring look and said to Qian Zhaodi, in your previous life, you did succeed, but it's because God took pity on me. Doing such wicked things will eventually bring retribution. What previous life? Qian Zhaodi's eyes widened, as if in disbelief, but she no longer had a chance. Miss Jiang, 2 uniformed officers entered through the door. We are from the National Security Agency. Qian Zhaodi is involved in activities that harm national interests and needs to undergo our investigation. I looked at Qingchen's uncle, and he nodded. This was my backup plan, taking pity on the nation's talented individuals. I managed to acquire this Faraday cage. By now, the system has probably been taken under control by the national security agents. No one at the banquet attempted to stop Qian Zhaodi from being taken away. Jiang Xiaomi, you will die a horrible death. Farewell, my dear sister. I'm afraid this will be the last time we see each other. Watching her being taken away by the state security agents like a dead dog. The weight in my heart finally seemed to lift. Qingchen and Shenmei also exchanged a smile. They were probably the biggest beneficiaries of this whole affair, and I, only 18 years old, have loving parents by my side and friends who believe in me. My wonderful life has just begun. The end. That concludes the first story. Stay tuned. The next one is even more exciting. After my sister-in-law got pregnant, she pretended to be a silly baby to compete with me. She came into my room in the middle of the night and scribbled all over my contract. As a result, I was demoted that day. I couldn't help but scold my sister-in-law a few times, but she tried to kill me. She poured shower gel on the floor, causing me to slip, bleed profusely, and die. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day my sister-in-law made bubble tea. 1. Baby doesn't care. Baby just wants to eat cheese-baked Australian lobster. My sister-in-law's sweet, delicate voice reached my ears, watching my sister-in-law cuddling a pink, delicate Barbie doll while nestled in my brother's arms and acting coquettishly. I finally realized that I had been reborn. My brother, Yifan, affectionately patted my sister-in-law's head. All right, I'll have Yimin make it for you in a moment. My sister-in-law calls herself a cute baby and constantly reminds everyone that she is a baby, since she became pregnant. She has gained even more attention and affection from the entire family. For the sake of their precious grandson in her belly, my parents have been extremely indulgent toward her. They treat her as if she might break if held too tightly, or melt if held too close. 2. In my previous life, just because my sister-in-law said she loved the food I cooked, my parents forced me to personally prepare 3 meals a day for her. Each meal had to consist of 3 dishes and 1 soup. Thinking about how I couldn't even take a nap during my 2-hour lunch break, and had to rush back and forth to cook for my sister-in-law right after work, I just couldn't bear it. I was shocked by their ridiculous request and directly refused, suggesting that my sister-in-law order takeout or have our retired parents who stay at home cook for her. However, she completely ignored it, pouting and acting coquettishly. I don't want to. I just want to eat the food you make. If you don't cook for me, you'll starve me and the little baby in my belly. My brother also impatiently scolded me. You're not even willing to do such a small favor for your sister-in-law. Do you even consider us family? After hearing my brother and sister-in-law's words, my mother immediately brought up the idea that the debt of gratitude for raising you is greater than heaven, insisting that I must obey her, to avoid unnecessary arguments. I had no choice but to agree. Little did I know this would be the beginning of my nightmare. My sister-in-law calls me right on time every day at mealtime. Baby is hungry. Come back quickly and make baby some food. Baby wants to eat braised prawns, soy sauce chicken, sweet and sour pork ribs today. A few times, when I didn't answer her calls because I was working overtime, she came to the company herself to urge me to go home and cook for her. So I was criticized by my boss for a long time. When I got home, I begged her not to come to my office again because of cooking, but she blinked innocently. But baby's tummy is hungry. I couldn't take it anymore, so I asked my mom to cook for my sister-in-law. Unexpectedly, my sister-in-law pouted and said pitifully, the baby only wants to eat the food made by Yimin. Left with no choice, I had to continue going back and forth to cook for her. Later, the leader asked me to buy him a high-quality Longjing tea cake, worth 50 to 60,000. After buying the tea, I placed it in my room, planning to bring it to the leader the next day, but I forgot to bring it the next day. Unexpectedly, that evening my sister-in-law stole my tea and used it to make bubble milk tea. I could only use my own savings to buy the tea back for the leader. After finding out, my sister-in-law not only didn't apologize, but instead proudly took a sip of the milk tea, with tears in her eyes, and said, the baby didn't mean it. The baby just really wanted to drink bubble tea. I was so angry that I wanted to scold her. My brother, however, didn't take it seriously. It's your own fault for not putting it away properly. My baby didn't do it on purpose. My parents also defended her. If you had put it away properly, she wouldn't have taken the wrong one. Who can you blame? Only yourself. Consider this as spending money to learn a lesson. Just make sure to put your things away properly from now on. I was so infuriated by their attitude that it made my liver ache, but considering the family bond we've shared over so many years, I gritted my teeth and endured it. Unexpectedly, my sister-in-law pulled the same trick again. Seeing that I had put my newly bought dress into the washing machine, she secretly poured toilet cleaner into it. The next day, shortly after I put on the new dress, my whole body broke out in blisters. It kept me from going out for days. I angrily confronted my sister-in-law, but she playfully tapped her head. the baby is so silly, accidentally mistook the toilet cleaner for laundry detergent, but when my brother found out, he affectionately patted her head. You really are a little scatterbrain. I thought my parents would take my side, but unexpectedly, they said indifferently, your sister-in-law just mixed things up by accident since she's not used to doing housework. It's just a small matter. No need to make such a fuss here. I can only convince myself that my sister-in-law must have mixed things up by accident. She didn't do it on purpose. I shouldn't lose my temper with her like this. Later, I had an appointment with a client to sign an important contract, but my sister-in-law secretly scribbled all over the contract I had prepared for signing. When the client saw it, they concluded that I didn't respect their company. The cooperation opportunity one fought so hard for has fallen through. I worked diligently at the company for 5 years before reaching the supervisor position, yet because of this mistake, I was demoted by the company. I finally couldn't take it anymore and argued with my sister-in-law, but she held a grudge and secretly poured shower gel all over the marble bathroom floor before I took my bath. I slipped and fell as soon as I walked in, hitting the back of my head hard on the sharp corner of the bathroom counter. The intense pain in the back of my head from the blood loss was unbearable. I lay in the bathroom begging them to take me to the hospital, but no one responded. Later, perhaps out of a guilty conscience, my brother wanted to come check on me but was stopped by my sister-in-law. She was crying, her face streaked with tears. She's covered in blood. It's so scary. Baby is so scared. Don't bother with her. My brother hugged her tenderly, comforting her, and didn't spare another glance for me. Lying on the cold floor, barely clinging to life, my parents, worried about my sister-in-law's pregnancy, crowded around her, comforting her, and I died from excessive blood loss due to delayed rescue. After my death, my resentment lingered, and my soul has been wandering around the house. I saw my parents learn the real cause of my death but still tell everyone that I slipped, fell, and hit my head on the table. And my mother even spoke of me with disgust. If she hadn't insisted on arguing with Xiaoya, things wouldn't have turned out like this. She brought it upon herself, and she even caused Xiaoya to have a threatened miscarriage, almost harming my precious grandson. Until this moment, I finally saw clearly that the family bond one had always cherished and protected was actually so fragile. In my parents' eyes, I will never compare to my brother. My sister-in-law, and her precious grandson. Heaven has given me a chance to live again. Since they are all so indulgent of my sister-in-law's antics, then let them experience what it feels like when those antics are directed at them. 3. Yimin, did you hear that? Your sister-in-law wants to eat cheese-baked Australian lobster. My brother Yifan's unquestionable tone pulled me out of my thoughts, looking at my brother's expression of complete self-assurance. I couldn't help but want to pounce on him and strangle him to death right then and there. Even though I treated him so well in my previous life, he stood by and watched me bleed to death just because his wife said she was scared. Someone like that doesn't deserve to be my brother. I clenched my fists tightly, struggling to suppress the overwhelming hatred, and forced a grin at him. No problem, sis. Whatever you want to eat, I'll make it. Hearing this, my sister-in-law happily snuggled into Yifan's arms, acting coquettishly. Honey, you're the best. Baby loves you so much. I was speechless and wanted to roll my eyes. I was the one who cooked the meal, so why are you thanking your husband? The next day, after I brought the tea I bought for my boss home, my sister-in-law happened to see it again. My sister-in-law came bouncing over, tilting her head to ask me, what is this? This is the tea I bought for my boss. I need to bring it to him tomorrow. I protected the tea like a precious treasure, repeatedly emphasizing that it belonged to my boss, was worth 50 to 60,000, and that she shouldn't touch it. My sister-in-law's eyes darted around, and she pouted, feigning indifference. Oh, baby knows. I nodded, turned to put the tea in the room, and continued to mumble, I need to put this away properly. If it gets damaged, I'll have to pay a lot of money. After hiding in the room, I immediately locked the leader's tea in the cabinet. I placed my father's high-quality tea, which had been stored for 7 years, on the table. I looked at the tea on the table and imagined the events that would unfold next. Sister-in-law, don't disappoint me, for, the next day, when I came home from work, my sister-in-law was indeed happily making bubble tea in the kitchen, just like in my previous life. I pretended to be panicked and ran up to ask, Sister-in-law, where did you get this tea? My sister-in-law pouted, her eyes welling up with tears as she looked at me. The baby just wanted to drink bubble tea. The baby didn't mean to. After saying that, she covered her face and started crying, looking as if I had bullied her. Yimin, how did you make my wife cry? My brother Yifan's voice came from behind. I turned around and saw my brother glaring at me with wide, angry eyes, his fists clenched, with my parents following behind him. So that's why she was answering irrelevantly and crying for no reason. She was playing mind games with me. My brother rushed forward, pushed me aside, and immediately embraced my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law was hiding in my brother's arms like a frightened little rabbit, sobbing uncontrollably. I just wanted some milk tea, so I couldn't help but take Minmin's tea leaves to make it. I really didn't mean to. Before I could even speak, my brother started yelling at me. Is it really necessary to be so aggressive? You're the one who didn't put the tea leaves away properly. My mother quickly stepped forward to comfort my sister-in-law. Don't cry, take it easy, my dear grandson. It's not your fault. It's all because Min didn't explain it clearly to you. My father also chimed in to support her. Min, you didn't even take good care of such valuable tea leaves yourself. Who can you blame? You can only blame yourself. Watching the whole family favor my sister-in-law just like in my previous life, constantly criticizing me, I only feel a sense of irony. Covering my mouth in surprise, I said, Dad, that cake of tea wasn't my boss's, it was yours, didn't you know? Hearing this, my dad froze for a moment. After realizing what had happened, he rushed to the tea cabinet and saw that his cake of da hong pao was indeed gone. His face instantly turned the color of liver. What, my tea? I've treasured that tea cake for 7 years and couldn't bear to drink it, and you actually used it to make milk tea. My father was so angry that he was fuming and glaring, scolding my sister-in-law loudly. 5. My sister-in-law, who is usually pampered by my parents and has never been scolded before, was so anxious that tears kept streaming down her face. I didn't mean to. Baby really didn't know this tea was Daddy's. Baby clearly took it from Minmin's room. My sister-in-law's eyes suddenly darted around. She broke free from my brother's embrace, pointed at my nose and shouted in a fluster, You deliberately framed me, didn't you? I shrugged innocently. The door to my room was locked. How did you get in? It's okay, sister-in-law. I know you were just acting on impulse because you really wanted bubble tea. Dad definitely won't blame you. My sister-in-law glared at me with wide, angry eyes, opening her mouth but unable to say a word. She didn't dare tell everyone that she was the one who stole the spare key to my room and opened the door. After all, she still needs to maintain her silly baby persona. She could only turn and look at my dad with fragile eyes. Daddy, baby really didn't mean to. Baby just accidentally took the wrong one. My dad was so furious that he stomped his feet at the thought of his prized da hong pao tea, which he had cherished for 7 years and never had the heart to drink. Being used to make bubble tea, he pointed angrily at my sister-in-law and yelled, All you ever think about is eating. Didn't I say that tea cake is my treasure and no one should touch it? Why can't you ever listen? You're so stupid. My brother instantly turned into a protective husband, wrapping his arms around my sister-in-law, who was crying pitifully, and gently stroked her head. She didn't do it on purpose. She just wanted some milk tea. What did she do wrong? My mom also defended my sister-in-law. Forget it. That tea of yours would just sit there anyway. Let her have it. Our grandson is what matters. Seeing my dad's face looking as if he had eaten something disgusting, I couldn't resist adding fuel to the fire. Dad, why are you so petty? You didn't put such a valuable thing away properly yourself, so how can you blame sister-in-law? My father's face turned even darker after I said that. He could only vent his anger on me. How dare you lecture me? Wouldn't you be angry if she had taken your tea to boil? I shrugged my shoulders. Of course I'm not angry. After all, my sister-in-law is just a baby who doesn't know any better. Why would I bother with her? Seeing that I kept defending my sister-in-law, my brother also surprisingly backed me up. That's right. It's just some worthless tea leaves. How could they be more important than my wife? Look how magnanimous Min is. You're being too petty. After we said that, my dad couldn't save face either and was extremely embarrassed. Seeing that no one was helping him, he could only suppress his anger and stormed out, slamming the door. See, when Min harmed my interests, they defended her with such high-sounding words, but now that it's their turn, they can't stand it anymore. 6. After dinner, I leaned back on the sofa, staring at my phone and muttering incessantly, I'm so envious. How blissful. Seeing this, my sister-in-law came trotting over, holding a creamy yellow milk bottle filled with milk tea. What are you looking at? Curious, my sister-in-law leaned in to take a look. I turned my phone towards my sister-in-law. In the video, a handsome man wearing an apron was cooking in the kitchen, then brought the finished dish to the dining table and fed his girlfriend bite by bite. My face was full of envy. This girl is so lucky. She gets to eat food cooked by her boyfriend every day. This is what you call being truly pampered. After watching it, my sister-in-law curled her lips in dissatisfaction and forcefully threw the baby bottle on the ground. Is that all? My baby's husband can cook for me too. I don't want you to cook for me anymore. From now on, my husband must personally cook for me. I'm the real baby here. I pretended to feel regretful. Sister-in-law, you don't want to eat my cooking anymore. My sister-in-law gave me a disdainful glance. The baby is a real baby, with her own husband cooking for her. You can't be jealous of that. After saying that, she turned and went back to her room, and immediately her coquettish voice could be heard from inside. I could no longer suppress the smile at the corner of my mouth. It's time for you all to taste the bitterness I've endured. 7. As soon as I got off work and opened the door, I heard my brother coaxing my sister-in-law, "Baby, from now on, let Yamin or Mom cook for you at noon. I really can't handle running back and forth for 2 hours every day." My sister-in-law was holding her pink Barbie doll, pouting angrily. "No, both the baby and the little baby in my tummy only want to eat the food you make. Do you not love the baby anymore?" My brother's dark circles under his eyes were terribly heavy, and he sighed helplessly, still wanting to continue coaxing my sister-in-law. It hasn't even been 2 weeks, and he's already feeling this miserable. Back when I cooked for my sister-in-law for a whole month, I was also suffering like this, yet he looked annoyed and said I was being delicate. It's really easy to talk without feeling the pain. I immediately stepped forward and affectionately stroked my sister-in-law's pitiful face. "Brother, you're in the wrong here. Sister-in-law is the little baby of our family. How can you not agree to such a simple task as cooking a meal?" Hearing my words, my sister-in-law scrunched up her face in distress, her eyes welling up with tears as she spoke. "Husband, do you not love your baby anymore? You can't even stick to such a small thing. You don't care about your baby anymore." My brother can't stand it when my sister-in-law cries, so he rubbed his temples and reluctantly agreed again. My sister-in-law immediately stopped crying and smiled, leaning against my brother's chest with a blissful expression. "Baby knew hubby loves baby the most." Watching my brother being driven to distraction by her, I felt absolutely thrilled inside. At night, after my parents had gone to bed, I deliberately showed off my new black bodycon mermaid dress in front of my sister-in-law. "Once it's washed and dried, I can wear my new dress tomorrow. I'm so happy. I'd better wash it separately from their clothes, so my black dress doesn't bleed." Seeing my dress, my sister-in-law's face immediately darkened, and her eyes showed jealousy. In this second life, I finally realized that she had already taken a liking to this dress before, but because she is only 1.5 meters tall and the dress is about 140 centimeters long, she couldn't wear it herself. Now that she sees I bought it, she's feeling upset again. On the surface, she still looked at me with an innocent, tilted head. "Minmin, your dress is so pretty. Are you going to wear it out tomorrow?" I nodded happily, stuffed the dress into the washing machine, poured in the detergent, pressed the wash button, and then went into my room. 10 minutes later, I tiptoed out of the room and just happened to see my sister-in-law pouring a bottle of toilet cleaner into the washing machine. As she poured, she was muttering something under her breath. After finishing everything, she smiled, dusted off her hands, and ran back to her room looking quite satisfied. It really doesn't seem like she can't tell the difference between toilet cleaner and laundry detergent. If I hadn't been reborn, I would never have imagined she could be so malicious. In my past life, she caused me to break out in blisters all over my body, preventing me from leaving the house for days. I ended up missing several client appointments and couldn't meet my sales targets. This time, I won't be the only one to suffer. I tiptoed out and saw the spin cycle button lit up on the washing machine, and everything clicked in my mind. No wonder my skin reacted so strongly to clothes washed with toilet cleaner. It turns out the toilet cleaner wasn't diluted at all and was fully absorbed into the fabric. I shook the toilet cleaner that had been tossed aside. The brand new bottle was completely empty. This was a dose meant to kill me, wasn't it? I quickly threw my brother's and my parents' clothes from the laundry basket into the mix as well, then cautiously made my way back to my room. 8. The next day, when I returned home from work, there was no one in the living room, and I was puzzled. Just then, my parents walked in together, their faces and bodies covered in red blisters. I pretended to be surprised and ran forward. "Dad, Mom, your faces, what happened to your faces?" My mother coldly threw the hospital test report in my face. "Did you wash the clothes yesterday? The doctor said it might be because we wore clothes soaked in hydrochloric acid and corrosion inhibitors. What exactly did you do to the clothes?" I pressed my 2 index fingers together and looked at my mom with an innocent expression. "I didn't wash the clothes yesterday. It was my sister-in-law who washed them. It was the first time I saw her doing laundry, so I even took photos planning to praise her to you all today." I raised my phone, and there in my hand was a clear photo of my sister-in-law squatting in front of the washing machine, her back to the camera. In the photo, my sister-in-law happened to be blocking the washing machine's drum, making it impossible to see what clothes were inside. When my mom saw the photo, her face turned completely dark, and she screamed in 2 days, I have a city-level square dance competition. How am I supposed to go like this? I worked so hard to get this spot. As soon as the words left my mouth, my brother happened to open the door and come in. Who washed the clothes last night? Why is my skin all red and itchy after I wore this shirt? My brother angrily ripped off the tie from his neck and shouted the question. Maybe he only wore a shirt, so his symptoms weren't as severe as my parents', just some red marks on his arms. My mother shot my brother a dissatisfied glance and shouted loudly, "Who else? Your precious wife." My sister-in-law was woken up by the noise and came out of the room rubbing her sleepy eyes. "What are you all arguing about? You've scared the baby awake." My mother, full of pent-up frustration, glared at my sister-in-law and demanded, "What exactly did you put in the clothes yesterday? Why do we all have red, swollen blisters all over our bodies?" My sister-in-law was stunned by my mother's sudden questioning, perhaps to maintain her silly baby persona. She couldn't directly admit that she had just poured toilet cleaner on my clothes yesterday. She opened her mouth but couldn't say anything. My dad came over holding the toilet cleaner that had been discarded beside the washing machine. Ever since his precious tea leaves were boiled by my sister-in-law last time, he hasn't given her a friendly look. My dad's face turned as dark as liver, and he threw the bottle at my sister-in-law's feet. "Did you use toilet cleaner to wash clothes yesterday?" My sister-in-law was startled by my dad's questioning and turned her pleading gaze toward my bewildered brother. Not getting any response from my brother, she could only sob and start defending herself. "Is this toilet cleaner? Baby is so silly. Baby just wanted to help with the housework and accidentally mixed up the laundry detergent with the toilet cleaner. Baby really didn't mean to do it. If this had only happened to me, my sister-in-law would just have to act cute and play dumb. And everyone would definitely side with her, but this time, it involves the square dance competition that my mom fought tooth and nail to get into, and my mom simply isn't having any of it. How could you be so stupid? How could you mix up toilet cleaner and laundry detergent? The toilet cleaner is kept in the bathroom. How could you possibly mistake it? You didn't do it on purpose, did you? Do you know how important this competition is to me? Now you've ruined everything? You're as stupid as a pig." Watching my mother scream at my sister-in-law like a madwoman, I tried hard to suppress the smile tugging at my lips. "So she does know that the toilet cleaner is kept in the bathroom. Last time, she said I was malicious and always misjudging my sister-in-law. How hypocritical of her." 9. My brother, who had roughly understood the whole story, immediately stepped forward to protect my sister-in-law without saying a word, seeing that my brother had come to back her up. My sister-in-law cried even more heartbreakingly, "Honey, the baby really didn't mean it. The baby is scared." My brother frowned impatiently at my mother. "Is it really necessary to be so harsh on my wife over such a trivial matter? It's just a stupid competition. She can always go again next time." I never expected my own son to stand up for his wife like that against me. My mom was so angry her whole face turned red, and she was just about to defend herself, right at that moment. I looked at my mom without a care. My sister-in-law has never done housework before, so it's normal for her to make a mistake. If I didn't have to meet a client today, I would have worn the dress I washed yesterday, but even if I ended up covered in rashes like you all, I wouldn't blame my sister-in-law. She's never done housework before, so it's normal for her to mess things up. Besides, she's carrying a baby in her belly. My mother was so angry that her face turned a purplish red, and she finally couldn't hold back anymore, pointing at us and wanting to scold us. At that moment, my sister-in-law covered her stomach and burst into loud sobs. "Baby is scared. Baby's tummy hurts." At that moment, my father pulled my mother aside as if to get back at her, whispering in a low voice, forget it. For the sake of your precious grandson, just bear with it a little longer." Probably he was retaliating because my mother didn't back him up last time. Or maybe he just didn't care much since it didn't really harm his interests. This family is truly united in appearance but divided at heart. Watching my mother's face turn all shades of red just because of this, I couldn't help but sigh. Was I a teenage mutant ninja turtle in my last life, so incredibly patient? After being outsmarted by me twice, my sister-in-law's gaze towards me was always filled with resentment. But in this life, I've been wary of her. So she never had another chance to tamper with my contracts. I signed the contracts with clients, earning a large sum of money for the company. In this life, not only was I not demoted, but I was actually promoted again. Not long after, my sister-in-law started causing trouble again. After finishing her bath, my sister-in-law came out and, for once, came to my room to knock on the door and urge me to go take a shower. Min, come out and take a bath quickly. The baby has already finished washing." My sister-in-law's tone was filled with obvious excitement and eagerness, which made my heart tremble. In my previous life, shortly after we had argued, she came to ask me to take a bath. At the time, I simply thought she was trying to make amends and reconcile with me, just like how a mother might coax a child by calling them to eat. I figured different people have different ways of expressing themselves, so I happily went to take a bath. If I had looked back then, Perhaps I would have seen the sinister look in my sister-in-law's eyes. Even though there was no argument like in my previous life, my sister-in-law still poured an entire bottle of shower gel in the bathroom, intending to harm me. This shows just how much she hates me. The bathing routine in my house has always been my parents going first, then my sister-in-law followed by me, and finally my brother, so she timed it perfectly. Daring to pour the entire bottle of shower gel in the bathroom, she was waiting here for me. You could say she's foolish, but she also secretly schemes. You could say she's clever, but she often does meaningless things. I opened the door, looked at her, and said with a smile, "I still have some work to finish. I'll wash them in a moment." My sister-in-law's smiling face immediately fell, and she pouted in dissatisfaction. "Then hurry up. The baby is going to sleep first," I sneered inwardly. How could she fall asleep without watching me fall? She's probably hiding in her room waiting for a good show, right? After waiting for about 10 minutes, I ran to the living room and tried to lower my voice as I spoke to my brother, who was lying on the sofa watching TV. "Bro, I'll probably be working on the proposal late into the night, so you should go take a shower first." 10. My brother gave me an unhappy look, nodded, then went to the balcony to grab his clothes and walked straight into the bathroom without looking back. Damn, a dull thud and my brother's pained cursing came from the bathroom. "Son, what happened?" Hearing the noise, my parents, who had been sitting on the sofa watching TV, immediately rushed toward the bathroom, watching their anxious figures. My heart gradually grew cold. It turned out they hadn't been unable to hear the commotion back then, they just hadn't cared whether I lived or died. In the bathroom, my brother was lying on the floor, and the 2 slippers on his feet were nowhere to be found. My sister-in-law, hearing the noise, ran out of the room trying to hold back her laughter, but when she saw my brother lying on the floor, her smiling face instantly froze. "Honey, how come it's you?" My brother was relatively lucky. He didn't hit the washstand but fell straight to the floor, so he only suffered a mild concussion on the back of his head. "Yumin, did you pour the shower gel in the bathroom?" My brother, lying in the hospital bed, roared at me with a distorted face. I waved my hand, looking innocent. "It wasn't me. I haven't even been in the bathroom. The last person to shower was sister-in-law." My brother turned his head and glared at my sister-in-law, furious. "Are you crazy? Pouring the whole bottle of shower gel on the floor, are you trying to kill me?" After giving me a sharp glare, my sister-in-law bit her lower lip in grievance. "The baby didn't mean it. The baby accidentally knocked it over." My brother, however, was not having any of it. He got up from the hospital bed, pointed at my sister-in-law, and started yelling at her, saying, "I didn't mean to make it okay. If I had accidentally hit a corner, I could have died. How can you be so stupid? You mess up everything. Get out of here. I don't want to see you again." My sister-in-law was about to say something else when my father, furious and with a darkened face, raised his hand as if to hit her. Startled, she bit her lip, her eyes shattered, and ran out. My mother had already been upset since my sister-in-law caused her to miss the square dancing competition she had been looking forward to so much. Now, learning that her son had suffered a minor concussion because of her made her even angrier. What a wretched woman. All she does is eat and sleep, and she's so stupid. She almost got her own husband killed. I smiled and retorted, "How can you say that about my sister-in-law? She didn't do it on purpose." My mom got even angrier at my words, standing with her hands on her hips and scolding me directly. "You ungrateful child. Why are you always siding with outsiders, outsider?" Back when she was defending my sister-in-law, she was the one who truly treated me like an outsider. Now that their interests are at stake, my sister-in-law has become the outsider again. I'm not going to let her feel good about it. I pretended to be angry and shouted loudly, "Mom, how can you treat my sister-in-law like an outsider? Once she married into our family, she became one of us." My mother was caught off guard by my sudden outburst and quickly covered my mouth, whispering softly, "Stop howling. Don't let your sister-in-law hear you." Seeing her with nowhere to vent her frustration, her face as dark as the bottom of a pot, made me incredibly happy. Because of my sister-in-law's baby, my parents already had significant grievances against her but kept holding back, and they've clearly been much colder toward her. And because I got a promotion and a raise, my mother has been extremely attentive to me, trying to coax me into giving more money for household expenses. Their attentiveness to me and their neglect of my sister-in-law formed a stark contrast, and the resentment in my sister-in-law's eyes grew deeper and deeper. After all, she is his own wife. My brother sulked for a few days and then forgave my sister-in-law. The two of them became sweet and inseparable again, sticking together every day. 9. Lately, my sister-in-law has been looking at me with an increasingly venomous expression. I suspect she's brewing up some big scheme again. so I've been keeping my guard up in everything I do. Sure enough, I was squatting in front of the shoe cabinet, getting ready to change my shoes and head out to work. Just as I was about to put on my shoes, I noticed something odd about the insoles. I took them out to have a look. Embedded in the insoles were a few faintly visible, short, thin needles. I took the needles out and carefully hid them inside her insoles. The woman's dumb baby persona was all an act. In reality, she was incredibly malicious. Now, let her reap what she sowed. That evening, my sister-in-law saw me return wearing the sneakers she had hidden needles in. Her eyes were filled with unconcealed triumph and anticipation, but instead of angrily rushing up to confront her as usual, I calmly put my things away and sat on the sofa. The triumph on her face immediately turned into confusion. She looked at my shoes. Wanting to speak but hesitating, I noticed her gaze and looked up with a smile. Sis, do you like these shoes too? My brother is really something, always calling you baby this and baby that, but when it comes down to it, he won't even buy his wife a pair of shoes. My sister-in-law hates it when anyone questions my brother's affection for her. She crossed her arms and yelled at me. How could that be? Baby's husband loves baby the most. Baby isn't even interested in your shoes. It's just, she paused, swallowed, knowing she couldn't say any more. Baby is going to have hubby take baby to buy 100 pairs of shoes right now. My sister-in-law glared at me discontentedly, stamped her foot hard, and ran into the room. When she came out again, she was draped limply over my brother's body and gave me a provocative look, pouting and acting coquettishly. Husband, will you buy me any shoes I want? My brother gave a doting smile, his arm around her waist tightening slightly. Of course, baby, you're my precious darling. Watching the sweet drama unfold right in front of me, I suppressed the urge to vomit from disgust. The real show is yet to come. Just as I expected, my sister-in-law excitedly ran to put on her shoes, but the moment she stepped into them, she screamed and jumped up. The baby's foot is bleeding. Woo-woo. My sister-in-law sat on the floor, holding her soul and sobbing uncontrollably. My brother, Xiaoya, are you okay? Calm down. Don't get worked up. You don't want to harm the baby. My mother was flustered as she tried to comfort my sister-in-law, terrified that something might go wrong with her pregnancy. My brother frowned deeply and shouted at us. Who put the needle in Xiaoya's shoe? How could anyone be so malicious? My sister-in-law hid in my brother's arms, looking wronged. Who hurt the baby? The baby really hurt so much. My sister-in-law pointedly looked at me, her stubborn little face still streaked with tears. My brother followed her gaze and fixed on me. Just as he was about to lash out, I quickly pointed to the surveillance camera at the entrance. I remember now, Mom bought a surveillance camera a while ago, and since I had nothing to do a couple of days ago, I had someone install it. We can check the footage. The camera was originally bought by my mom for when her precious grandson is born, so she could monitor the baby in real time. After discovering the needles in my shoe insoles, I immediately mounted the camera on the wall. Though it wasn't actually connected to power yet, I was betting that my sister-in-law would be too guilty to actually check the surveillance footage. 10. Sure enough, a trace of panic appeared on my sister-in-law's face, and her eyes darted around uneasily. Honey, I just remembered. It was me. I accidentally dropped it in there a couple of days ago when I wanted to sew the shoe insoles. My sister-in-law hugged my furious brother and pouted as she explained. My brother was somewhat puzzled. Wife, you can even sew shoe pads. I stared intently at my sister-in-law, not wanting to miss a single trace of panic or embarrassment on her face. Baby's feet hurt so much. Hubby, blow on them for baby. My sister-in-law skillfully changed the subject. My brother didn't mind at all and gently held my sister-in-law's foot, blowing warm air on it with heartache. Seeing my brother's pained expression, a happy blush appeared on my sister-in-law's face. My mother brought over iodine with a worried look and asked my brother to help disinfect my sister-in-law's wound. Feeling that she had regained the whole family's affection, my sister-in-law laughed happily. I'm so happy, honey. Do you love me more, or the little baby in my belly? My brother froze for a couple of seconds before chuckling softly. Of course, I love you the most, baby. Satisfied with the answer, my sister-in-law was overjoyed and continued to ask, so, do you prefer a little princess or a little prince? At that moment, I jumped in and answered, they say daughters are their father's little cotton-padded jackets. My brother likes daughters the most. Hearing this, my mother shot me a displeased glare, then turned to my sister-in-law with a beaming smile. Of course, a son is better. Only a son can take care of you in old age and perform your funeral rites. My sister-in-law was still not satisfied, staring at my brother with an expectant look, wanting only to hear the answer from his lips. Honey, as long as it's our child, I'll love them. My brother knew exactly what my sister-in-law liked to hear. Even if he preferred a son, he would still pretend and say the sweet words my sister-in-law wanted to hear, satisfied with the answer she received. My sister-in-law nestled happily in my brother's arms. "Honey, you're the best. I love you the most." The two of them began kissing passionately as if no one else was around, with constant smacking sounds. Witnessing this disgusting scene, I quietly retreated back to my room. A moment later, my sister-in-law ran into my room without knocking. I was working on my tasks when I saw her rush in unexpectedly, so I quickly closed my laptop, seeing me guard against her as if she were a thief. She shot me a displeased glare. "Earlier you said your brother likes daughters the most. Is that true or not? Did he secretly tell you that?" My sister-in-law pursed her lips, crossed her arms, and looked at me with an accusatory expression. I smiled innocently and said, "Sister-in-law, don't you know, my brother loves daughters the most. They say daughters are their father's little. If you give birth to a daughter, my brother will surely dote on your little niece just as he dotes on you." After hearing this, a flicker of devastation crossed my sister-in-law's face, and she glared at me with intense resentment. "No way, no one can enjoy the same favor as me." She stomped her foot angrily and stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Watching her get so worked up because of me, I couldn't help but curl my lips into a smile. The next day, I secretly noticed that my sister-in-law's browser search page was filled with how to tell the baby's gender by looking at the belly shape. Does the husband usually love the wife more or the daughter more? How to determine if the baby in the belly is a boy or a girl? Is the saying sour for a boy, spicy for a girl true or false? If she hadn't constantly been messing with me, I'd genuinely question her intelligence. To escape the daily dread of my sister-in-law tormenting me again, I used a work transfer as an excuse to move. 11. Less than 2 weeks after moving, I received a call from my dad. "That bitch, your sister-in-law, secretly went to the hospital for an abortion. Hurry to the hospital and help." When I arrived at the door of the hospital room, I heard my brother's furious voice. "Have you gone mad? You came alone to have the baby aborted. You've killed my precious son, you wretched woman." It turned out that my sister-in-law had secretly gone to the hospital for an abortion, but ended up fainting due to heavy bleeding. The hospital immediately contacted my brother, who rushed over in a panic only to find out that his wife had aborted the child in her womb. It was a fully formed male fetus. When my mother found out, she was so furious that she fainted on the spot and was carried to the next room. From the hospital room came the sharp sound of a slap and a woman's heart-wrenching sobs. "I didn't mean to. Baby thought it was a girl in my belly, and I was just afraid she would take away the love that belongs to baby." My sister-in-law was crying uncontrollably. "Do you really think you're still a baby? Have you lost your mind? You're a mother. How could you be so cruel as to abort your own child? And it was a boy, my precious son." My brother roared in anger. My father also added fuel to the fire. "Beat this wretched woman to death. She caused the death of our precious grandson." As expected, when their interests weren't affected, they treated her like a treasure, but once their interests were harmed, they showed a completely different face. My brother's constant indulgence has made her get carried away, thinking that her place in his heart could surpass the child in her womb. Unfortunately, my brother's preference for sons over daughters is the most deeply ingrained in our family. I pushed the door open and walked into the hospital room. I stood in front of my sister-in-law's hospital bed with a righteous and imposing demeanor. "Didn't you all say before that my sister-in-law is the treasure of our family? And now you're bullying her over such a small matter. You're going too far." My brother was so angry that his veins bulged, and he pointed at me, cursing furiously. "What business is it of yours, you meddlesome brat? Her actions led to my son's death, and you, a worthless girl, are still defending her." My father spat viciously in my direction. "Worthless girl, your life isn't even as valuable as my grandson's." I reached into my pants pocket and gave myself a hard pinch, and tears instantly welled up in my eyes. "Dad, brother, I never thought I was just a money-losing burden in your eyes. I never want to see you again." Sobbing, I covered my face and ran out. It wasn't until I ran out of the hospital that I finally laughed out loud. I didn't want to see these disgusting family members for another second. This family is so hypocritical. I doubt my sister-in-law will have an easy time from now on. Later, I heard that my mother had gone insane, driven mad by my sister-in-law aborting the grandson she had been longing for. My father and brother called me hundreds of times, but I didn't answer a single call. Now they remember me, probably hoping to make me the scapegoat who takes care of my mother, who went crazy over her precious grandson. She had never treated me as family before, despising and loathing my identity as a girl deep down, and disregarding my life or death. Why should I be responsible for her? I applied to the company and transferred to a branch office outside the province, and blocked all their contact information. 12. I heard about my brother and sister-in-law again on the internet. Ever since my sister-in-law privately aborted the child without consulting my brother, he had never spoken to her again. Accustomed to being a pampered and protected baby, she couldn't accept my brother's coldness and neglect. Spending her days at home consumed by suspicion, she suspected my brother was having an affair, which was why he was treating her this way. She went to stake out my brother's office building and happened to see him escorting a client downstairs. Seeing only that the client was a woman, she immediately rushed forward and brutally beat the woman. While hitting her, she also hurled insults. "You homewrecker, trying to seduce my husband, I'll beat you to death, you shameless woman." My sister-in-law, as if gone mad, straddled the woman and rained down punches like a storm. No matter how hard my brother tried, he couldn't pull her away. The female client, who was already in her 50s, was inexplicably mistaken for a mistress and beaten up. Fuming with anger, she immediately terminated the contract with my brother's company and demanded compensation for medical expenses. Because of my sister-in-law's outburst, my brother not only got fired but also had to pay hefty compensation to both the company and the assaulted client. The video of the sister-in-law violently beating a female client was even posted online, causing a huge uproar. And the whole world is watching her become a laughingstock after understanding the whole story. I scrolled through the comments under the video. "What kind of spoiled wife is this? She's really gone crazy, hitting any woman she sees. This husband is so unlucky. He just walked a client downstairs and ended up losing his job because of his wife. You're such a grown-up and still calling yourself baby all the time. How shameless." Because my brother went viral online, no company dares to hire him anymore. They're all afraid of his silly baby wife behind him. This is all karma. I put down my phone and went back to the unfinished work at hand. A few months later, I had almost forgotten this family even existed. Suddenly, I saw a piece of news on my phone. #woman poisons husband to death and disables father-in-law after enduring domestic violence and family neglect. Although the woman on the interrogation platform in the video had her face blurred, I recognized her at a glance as my sister-in-law. Woo you. It turned out that after my sister-in-law caused my brother to lose his job, he became even more disgusted with her. Because he couldn't find a job, my brother became addicted to alcohol, coming home drunk every day to beat my sister-in-law. This time, no matter how hard my sister-in-law tried to act cute or coquettish, it didn't work. Whenever my brother encountered something that upset him, he would violently beat her and no longer bothered to comfort her. My father also turned a cold shoulder to this and no longer protected her as he used to. My sister-in-law, who had always been pampered, couldn't accept such a huge and wanted to teach my brother and father a lesson, just like she had done to me. I poured pesticide into the chicken soup they were drinking. My brother was directly poisoned to death, and my father was saved in time because he drank less. On the interrogation platform, my sister-in-law still pouted her mouth as before, pretending to be pitiful. Baby really didn't mean it. Baby just wanted to teach them a lesson. Baby really didn't know it was this powerful. After saying that, she covered her face and cried bitterly on her own, but this time it was in the police station interrogation room, and no one would believe her utterly foolish words anymore. Later, my dad called me from an unfamiliar number. "Minmin, I know I was wrong. In our past life, I shouldn't have stood by and watched you die. Can you forgive me? Could you come see your mom and me? It seems he has been reborn too. Working while dragging a body damaged by pesticide and taking care of his insane wife must be really tough for him." But hearing his confession, I felt no emotion in my heart. "No, the harm you've caused me has already been done, and my hatred for you will never fade." I don't think he truly regrets how he treated me before. He's only pretending to be weak and apologizing because he realizes I'm the only daughter he can rely on. But I don't need his apology. I didn't want to give him another chance to talk nonsense, so I quickly hung up the phone and changed my number. In this life, I will live my own life to the fullest. The end. That's all for today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. See you in the next video.